So it was early October when we decided we wanted to take a vacation at the end of the year because we were anticipating a couple of film projects before that. Therefore, we were researching on a number of places to visit, and Japan turned out to be an affordable location and also a top destination that a few of us wanted to visit.
And before we knew it, December rolled around and we were on our way to Japan.
That evening, we landed in Kansai International Airport and we made our way to Kyoto via the Hello Kitty themed Haruka Express.
Can you show me the Hello Kitty on the seat back?
When we arrived in Kyoto, what better way to start off the trip with a hot piping bowl of shoyu ramen. This was one of the most highly rated shoyu ramen places in Kyoto that we queued up for almost 2 hours just to get a seat in. After dinner, we checked into one of the most amazing ryokans that we've ever stayed in. Hi everyone, today we're in Kyoto, one of the traditional cities in Japan. And here today we're going to introduce to you one of the hotels or ryokans that we are actually staying in. It's actually one of the best hotels that I've personally stayed at. There are many amenities, architecture, and the interior design is so amazing. I think it'll blow some of your minds. So now let's take a look at one of the rooms that we have today, which is the twin room. As you can see, it's actually pretty nice. There's a really nice 2 beds over here, and there's a big living space with a cupboard behind you and some refrigerator with some snacks in it, even a welcome snacks, some pudding, and really nice tatami mats on the floor, very traditional, and a really nice window with an okay view. What better way to end off the day than soaking in the amazing onsen facilities in the ryokan.
The next day, we woke up bright and early to visit one of Kyoto's most famous cultural attractions, the Fushimi Inari Taisha.
The shrine sits at the base of the sacred Mount Inari, which stands at 233 meters tall. I initially thought we were there just to view and take nice photos with the torii gates. However, everyone was adamant on climbing this mountain. Online reviews state that it takes only 1 hour to climb to its summit. Therefore, we made the collective decision to trek up this hill.
So freaking tiring, man. We had to, oh my goodness, you can barely see the entrance of where we came from. Freaking tall torii gates. You barely see it, and you can see that it's freaking far away, man. And we still have to walk back later, Nick.
Yeah, but it's walking down.
And we haven't had breakfast.
Well, we can.
However, the climb was well worth it as we were treated to a wonderful view of Kyoto City.
Later in the day, we headed to another famous attraction in Kyoto, the Kiyomizu-dera Temple, where we experienced a beautiful sunset. On the way back, we walked through the streets lined with amazing food stalls and souvenir shops, and we also treated ourselves to some delicious candied strawberries.
Before checking out, we had breakfast buffet in the ryokan. The food was really delicious, and you could tell that it was made from quality ingredients.
We headed down to Arashiyama to walk along the majestic bamboo grove. In the middle of the bamboo forest, we came across this interesting shrine where many of the visitors were here to pray for luck in love and marriage. The shrine had a tortoise-shaped stone, and it was said that if you rub the stone, the gods would grant your wishes.
We are currently at Katsura River. And you can see it's a really nice river. Very popular bridge over there called Togetsucho Bridge. Look at the ducks. Probably it will be nicer in autumn where the leaves are really colourful in the mountains.
There are brown duck and black ducks and red ducks. Different coloured kind of ducks.
Before leaving Kyoto, we had to try the famous Uji Matcha ice cream. That night, we headed back to the bustling city of Osaka, known for its wonderful nightlife and hearty street food.
We spent about 3 hours searching for this one food that we had always wanted to try: okonomiyaki.
In the morning, we visited the famous Glico-man in Dotonbori before taking a day trip down to Nara Park.
Famous for its hundreds of bowing deer roaming freely around the city, Nara Park was a place that none of us had visited before. We were extremely determined to get a selfie with the Nara deer, and so we started a little competition to see who could get the funniest selfie. After sampling some of the street food in Nara, we went back to visit the Osaka Aquarium, where we spent the rest of the evening.
We spent the last few hours of 2022 together alongside some snacks and drinks we got from the nearby Family Mart.
The next morning, we continued onwards to the next leg of our journey. While it was winter in Japan, it did not feel like it, as there was no snow in Osaka. So we hopped on a flight to Sapporo in search of some snowy weather.
That night we were welcomed in Sapporo with a wonderful light snowfall. It was a truly magical experience and a great start to 2023.
We spent the day exploring Sapporo and trying out some of Hokkaido's famous food.
In Sapporo, with the Sapporo TV tower behind me. And we are here yet again to take a look at it in the afternoon. You can see more things in the afternoon.
It was here where I had one of my favorite meals of this trip, which was butter miso ramen at Haruka. The owner was evidently a fan of rock, as you could see his whole shop plastered with record labels of famous rock musicians and rock-inspired t-shirts. At the end of the day, we took a broad way up Mount Moiwa to enjoy the spectacular night views of Sapporo City.
This is Keen from KNN, the Keen News Network. Look at that. Wow, the views are crazy. This is pretty scary. I think we're about 100 meters above sea level. Is it? Maybe. 100 Keen meters. That's crazy. That's crazy. Look at all the snow. Oh, it's freezing. It's freezing. It's minus 15 degrees right now. Goodness.
The next day, we took a trip down to Noboribetsu, where we visited a volcanically active crater called Jikokudani.
So now we're on the train. We just left Sapporo and we're going to Noboribetsu here. Noboribetsu is known for its Jikokudani Hell Valley. It's a very volcanic area, so there's a lot of hot spring, natural hot spring water coming off the ground. The train ride is going to be about an hour. Hopefully we'll be there soon, yeah.
We're now in Jikokudani Valley. As you can see, there's a lot of smoke around here. The smell is very intense. Hopefully there'll be a smelly vision soon so that you can smell the same smell that we're currently smelling.
It was extremely magical to see steam rising up from the mountains amidst the untouched snowy landscape.
To prepare for our train ride down to our final destination, Hakodate, we stopped by popular Hokkaido convenience store Seiko Mart. You've probably heard of 7-Eleven, Family Mart or Lawson's. Seiko Mart is Hokkaido's very popular convenience store that sells local produce of the region.
When our train arrived in Hakodate, we were surprised to find out that the entire platform and including some of the railway tracks were covered with snow.
As usual, as we arrived late in the evening, not many stores were open yet again. However, in the heavy snow, we spotted this really nice retro, bright looking signboard that was the only signboard lit in the entire street. It had this really uncanny clown standing right in front of the store to greet us. Entering the restaurant, we were pleasantly taken aback by the retro looking interior that reminded us of an old American diner. Hokkaido is well known for its fresh fish and seafood, and thus this morning we decided to head to Hakodate Morning Market, one of the largest seafood markets in Hokkaido. After feasting on some fresh seafood donburi, we headed to Kanemori Red Brick Warehouse, a quaint shopping mall in Hakodate.
On the way there, we were met with one of the heaviest snowfalls and strong winds that we have ever encountered.
The snow was so heavy that we could hardly see what was in front of us, and we had to stop every few steps behind a pillar to shield ourselves from strong gusty winds.
When we finally emerged from the Red Brick Warehouse, we found that the skies had cleared just as quickly as the snow had begun, and the views were breathtaking. Before we knew it, our time in Hokkaido came to an end, and we had to return back to Tokyo. And what better way to do it than take the Shinkansen all the way to our next destination, Tokyo.
The next morning, we headed to Asakusa, one of the most popular tourist destinations in Tokyo. We headed there via the Ginza line, and we were pleasantly surprised when we entered the train that it was retrofitted with a really nice wood grain interior, reminiscent of the traditional trains in Japan. While Tokyo is a really metropolitan city, Asakusa retains the vibe of an older Tokyo with traditional craft shops and street foods near the very popular Sensoji Temple. It's a must-visit destination that I always bring my friends who visit Tokyo for the first time. It is also a joy to visit during New Year's, where many of the locals also visit Sensoji Temple to give blessings and pray for the new year. Alongside the festivities were really nice food stalls that line the streets, selling really nice local food produce such as yakisoba and chicken karaage.
We then visited Team Lab Planets Tokyo, an art facility utilizing digital technologies to create interactive exhibitions.
It was almost as if we were transported into another world. That evening, we had one of the most popular kaiten sushis in Tokyo, Sushiro.
We explored Akihabara, a more interesting side of Tokyo, famous for its electronic stores and arcades. We spent the next day roaming around Tokyo and exploring its various sights and sounds.
Mount Fuji is such an iconic symbol of Japan. Personally, I've only ever seen it while on a Shinkansen ride from Tokyo to Osaka, and therefore we made it our mission this time to go see it up close in person. We took the Shinkansen from Tokyo down to Odawara, where our rental car awaits us, and on the way, we actually had a glimpse of what Mount Fuji has in store for us. Our first stop was Hakone Shrine, where we had some lunch, paid our respects at the shrine, and got some good luck charms. It was also there where we tried the famed amazake, a really nice sweet rice drink.
Hakone Shrine is located just right next to Lake Ashi, and we spent the evening taking a stroll along the lake, and we also tried riding in these quirky little boats shaped like ducks, which allowed us to pedal all the way to a floating torii gate called Heiwa no Torii.
We then decided to take the toll-free road which brought us up the mountain on our way to the Airbnb, and we were delighted to be greeted by this wonderful sunset in the evening. I also make it a point to try McDonald's every time I'm overseas, and the Abbey Burger from Japan's McDonald's is one to remember.
After a long drive, we finally arrived at our Airbnb. We booked this Airbnb due to its close proximity to Mount Fuji, which we hope to go and explore the next day. And the next morning, we were greeted to a beautiful view of Mount Fuji just right outside our window.
We couldn't leave Kawaguchiko without taking the picture-perfect postcard photo with Mount Fuji. Thus, we headed to Chereito Pagoda to enjoy the magnificent view of Mount Fuji in all its glory. What I enjoyed most about this drive around Mount Fuji area was that every place that we drive by, there we could always catch a glimpse of Mount Fuji in the distance. We were getting close to nearing the end of our trip as we take the Shinkansen and drag our weary feet back to Osaka. We were really lucky that our hotel in Osaka also had an onsen for us to take one last chance to rest and relax before heading back to Singapore. The next day, we headed to Kyoto Railway Museum. Personally, I'm a really big fan of trains, so this was something that I've always been looking forward to this trip. We discovered the amazing technology behind the world-renowned Shinkansen train system and revisited some of the old steam locomotives that were really nicely on display at the train roundhouse.
And with that, our Japan trip has come to an end. We had such amazing experiences, tasted plenty of wonderful food, and experienced way more snow than we had originally hoped for, but it was well worth it.
It was a truly amazing time together with a really nice group of friends, and Japan will always be a destination that I always want to visit again.